Hi, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and this is where I apologise. I have become one of those players, well, not really, but I've become one of those players who likes playing things that are a bit old school and a little bit annoying, and have often been classed as part of the competitive EDH world or competitive Commander world. Not because I want to play them, but because I've started picking them up on MTGO. And it seems silly to pick up cards on there and then not talk about them. So today, I'm going to be looking at one of the commanders from back in time. This is my own take on it. I haven't looked at anyone's deck list before anyone says anything or comments. But yeah, if you got a comment, make it below. It'd be really kind of you if you did. Thank you. I've built this myself, and I've decided I'm going to try and abuse this particular card. Now, this is an old school commander. It's been around for a while. And when I show it to you in a minute, I suspect you're all going to groan. But anyway, here we go. My own take on Brago King Eternal. For those of you who've never seen Brago before, maybe new to the format, Brago is 2 white blue for a 2/4 flyer. And it has an ability that says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile a number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. So what you're trying to do with this is flicker things in and out of play, and it is really using Brago. I know I've seen people playing things that flicker spells, flicker everything, all the rest of it to keep resetting it. But I'm doing this purely around Brago. So how are we going to do this? Well, this is probably a little bit more competitive than I usually play, in my personal opinion. Obviously, if you disagree with me, you know where to comment, you know where to share with me. And I've worked on this. I have got my usual 2 cards in here that go in every deck I play at the moment, Field of the Dead and Fabled Passage. And then everything, I've put Broker's Hideout in because it gets me a plane to an island if I need it. But then every other land I've got is either an island, a plains, or dual colour blue-white land. Now, there's a couple of exceptions there you just saw. Rogue's Passage really helps with Brago. Pay 4 mana, tap it, make him unblockable, blink everything in and out, and it's any number of target non-land permanents. So I'll come to that in a minute. It's really important. Reliquary Tower's here because we will be drawing some cards with this deck with a bit of luck if things work out the way we want them to. And to that extent, we have got Mikuroko, Sea of the Centre of the Sea here to help the draw. But you know, we'll do it at the end of our opponent's turn before it's our turn, so we don't quite give everyone the benefit. But we'll see how it goes. Ramp wise, Mox Tantalite, Mana Crypt, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Marble Diamond, Sky Diamond, Solemn Sims in here. That's basically where as you know, if you've watched any of my other deck takes, you know I tend to go around these cards quite a lot. But this one I decided I'm going to do it this way and try and push it. So, that's the ramp, that's the land. What are we trying to do? What we're trying to do is get permanents into play that have a come into play effect, so that when we blink them in and out with Brago, when we eventually got Brago going, we get to have those effects again. Now, to give you an idea, there's one Knight of the Orchid in here. Go into our library, find a player's card, put it onto battlefield with opponent controls. It's a good early game. It's really good. It comes late, it cannot be so good, but if we're blinking it in and out, we might get a little bit more benefit from it. Similarly, Omen of the Seas in here. So when it enters the battlefield, we get to scry 2 and draw a card. So if we blink this in and out, we can play it early if we need to. If we need to fix mana, we need to look for something. Or we can play it late, and with Brago out, and hopefully Brago being unblockable, we'll just be able to blink this in and out and draw an extra card every turn, which would be quite nice. Counterspell. I'm not really going to go into that. Likewise, Mana Drain is Mana Drain. I have put in Cameo of the Crescent Moon. In the games I've been playing recently, people have been killing Howling Mine, but they aren't killing Cami, so I'm leaving Cami out in for now to see if it works or not. If it doesn't work, it might be a card you could drop out. If you've got a group of players you're playing with who don't really play much artifact destruction, Howling Mine is probably better. So bear that in mind. Quain Itinerant Meddler's in here. Everyone may draw a card. which is quite nice. And then each player who drew a card this way gains a life. So, we're helping people out a bit friendly until we can take a bit more control of the board. Obviously, it's legendary, so the next card works with it as well. Hero's Blade. Equipped creature gets +3/+2, and whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to Hero's Blade. This is in here really to help Brago out, to take Brago out of that 4 toughness range that a lot of creatures and a lot of spells in red will deal with if we can't protect him. Putting him up to 6 toughness makes it a lot more difficult. And the 5 on the front, because of the +3, really doesn't help her either. So, let's talk about some of the things we're going to be blinking. That's kind of like the control-y side of it. There's a few other bits, but we'll get to them as we come along. I've put in Borrow Time. You could put in any 3 mana enchantment that you'd like to put in here that exiles something. I picked Borrow Time, so it's the first thing I found. You could put Oblivion in, Oblivion Ring in, for example. But I'm playing this. Early game, it blinks out something that's annoying us. Later game, hopefully Brago will blink it in and blink it out, and we'll take out something that's even bigger and more of a threat to us. So that's the idea there. Oath of Gideon's in here. Gives us a couple of 1/1s when it comes into play. Core ally creatures of all things. But the other great thing is if we blink it with Brago, we keep getting them. And the Planeswalkers enter with additional control on them, but we'll come to the Planeswalkers in a second. Oath of Jace, same idea. Comes into play early, we get to draw 3 and discard 2. Get to do a bit of scrying when we've got some Planeswalkers in play. Again, with Brago, it means we can dig through our deck a little bit further than we might be able to normally. I've included Thassa, God of the Sea in here, and the other version, Thassa Deep Dwelling, which I'll come to in a second. But Thassa, God of the Sea is here for the ability down here. 1 and a blue, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. It helps. If we get to Brago, if we got this down on turn 3, Brago on turn 4, if Brago survives until turn 5, we can pay 2 mana, make Brago unblockable. Sorry, clicks off the card then. Make Brago unblockable, get in, start flashing things in and out. Don't need to flash in and out the gods at any time. They don't really do anything as it comes into play, but as a backup way of getting Brago unblockable, it's really quite good. Right. Here we go. Start with the Planeswalkers. Jace is here because we're going to try and help everyone draw cards because it keeps us alive longer and makes some friends until we're ready to win the game. Likewise, if someone does sort of deal a couple of damage to Jace, he gets down, Brago will blink him in and blink him out, and he comes back in with his full loyalty. So there's a few Planeswalkers. I'm sure you'll recognise them as we get to them. Celestial Regulator's a trial card. I'm not going to argue it. I've put it in because it will slow down something hopefully that's annoying us. Yes, it doesn't have anything. We don't have any way of putting counters or anything in this deck. But what it can do is come into play, tap a creature down that we want to, an opponent we want to attack next turn, and then with Brago we can keep tapping the odd creature down here and there. It might be we've got another threat on the board. We're not attacking them, so we're not worried about them, but someone else is, so we can blink this in and out, tap down one of the creatures. Just bear it in mind, there's no way of keeping them untapped during their controller's next turn in this deck. Reflector Mage again, bounces a creature, and then it can't be cast next turn. If we can keep doing this with Brago, it really annoys the opponents really quickly, so it's a good Brago target. Filigree Familiar's here for the life gain. If it dies, we need to draw a card, all well and good, but we'd like to keep it in the deck for the life game. Blinking in and blinking it out does keep us going with Brago. Likewise, Whisper Silk Cloak's in here as an expensive bit of equipment. 3 to cast, 2 to equip. But it does mean the equipped creature can't be blocked and has Shroud. Now, this is really good for putting on Brago. If we can get this into play and get Brago equipped with it, we're away to the races. Purely because it makes Brago very, very hard to kill short of something like Blasphemous Act, Wrath of God, so on and so forth. And getting through unblocked every turn really helps us do our bouncing bit. Sorry. Settle the Wreckages next. Just a way to keep the board under control. Spark doubles here, so we could have 2 copies of Brago, 2 copies of anything else we wanted that don't become legendary, so we keep it going. Thassa Deep Dwelling. Again, I'm not sure about this one. I prefer the other Thassa because of the unblockable side, but I thought we'd try if we're going to have one. We might as well have both in the deck. Whoops, Sorry. Exile a creature, bring it back into play. Yeah, okay. Can we exile Filigree Familiar? We can exile Knight of the White Orchid, keep bouncing it in and out. It does help a little bit. It goes with another couple of creatures that are coming up in a minute as well, but I figured we'd try it out and see what happens. Jace is here, the first of the Jaces, I think. I think it's maybe the only other Jace I have in the deck. If we can get to 8 and draw 7 cards, we might win the game. If we can draw enough cards, we might be able to win the game. So it's another way of winning the game, basically. But we're basically going to use it to mill our opponent and draw a card every so often, especially if someone's stacking things on top of the deck we want to get rid of. Dovin Barnes in here. Gain life, draw a card. Eventually, if we can get up to 7 mana, it becomes kind of like a mini winter orb, which will annoy people. But we can keep bouncing it in and out if people are attacking it. You know, draw a card, gain 2 life before combat, hit with Brago, bounce it, come back in, do it again, or give one of their creatures -3 and stop all the activated abilities working. So it's a possibility. I'm not sure about last set. It was another blue-white Planeswalker. I thought I'd try it out in the deck. We do have quite a few non-creature, non-land cards in this deck, so we might draw something off her occasionally. And if we can do the -9 thing, it's all great. But we'll see. This is just a trial one. You probably saw the deck tech on this the other week. Hopefully you did. If not, please go back and have a look at it. But since I'm playing Brago, and Brago is in OG's deck, I thought I might as well put OG in Brago's deck. Same idea, gain some life, scry, and if when we cast our second spell, we do get to bounce something. So it's like a mini effect, but a bit more work to do than what Brago is. Ogatize commands here, purely because I wanted a way of countering a target spelling, drawing a card. That's what it's here for. We haven't got many creatures that cost mana 2 or less, apart from Knight of the White Orchid, so it's not, the first effect's not going to work. We may use it occasionally again, the 4 life, if we're really short of things to draw a card, but we'll see. Right, Aetherworks Marvel, you're probably thinking there's a strange one in here, because you know, we're blinking stuff in and out. It's not going to the graveyard. It's not really here for that bit. What we actually got it in for is this kind of a mini combo with Aethertide Whale that's over here in the 6 mana drop. Because when Aethertide Whale enters the battlefield, you get 6 energy. With Aetherworks Marvel, you can pay 6 energy and look at the top 6 cards of your library, and you may cast a spell from among without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. With, hopefully, Brago blinking in and out the Aethertide Whale quite a lot, we're going to be able to do this every turn. And if some of our stuff does go to the graveyard, well, we'll get some bonus energy along the way. But I figured it was worth trying it out. Solemn Sim's here. I've already talked about Solid Sim, what that's doing. Doomscar you've seen before from me. I like having the ability to put this turn 2 foretell this. I just have it sitting there until I need it. Elspeth, Conquers Death is in here. It's a permanent, don't forget, so it can blink in and out with Brago, which means we can keep exiling creatures with mana value 3. And the worst thing in the world is it returns one of our small creatures or one of our planeswalkers that's got killed somehow to the battlefield. Muldrift is great to bounce in and out or blink in and out with Brago. Drawing those 2 cards is really good. If we need to do it early, we can evoke it. Likewise, Behold the Unspeakable is another one of the sagas I've put in. This one's from Neon Dynasty. If we can keep blinking it in and out, so let it get to 2, blink it out again, it goes back to 1, so it makes all our opponent's creatures smaller, and then we get to either draw 4, scry 2, and draw 2. So it seems like a good one to have in. Tabio's here to give us a bit more control. We can tap people's permanents down. It doesn't untap. You know, if someone's stuck playing a 2-colour deck and they're stuck on, I don't know, say 3 swamps and a mountain, maybe, just keep the mountain tapped, which might upset them and slow them down enough that we win. And if we can get the emblem off, all well and good, because when everything goes to our graveyard, it goes back to our hand, which is fine. So I figured it was worth a try. Cloudblazer, another flyer, another creature, comes in, gets 2, draws 2. Great target with Brago again. Dragonlord Ojitai is in here. I want something a bit bigger that could act as kind of a win condition. So this is why this is here. And obviously, you know, attack, get in, do the whole look at the top 3 cards of our library, put one on the hand, one on the bottom, then blink it with Brago. The ability still triggers and it comes back in untapped and hexproof, so that's quite good. Oath of Teferi does the whole blink it in, blink it out again. But it does mean that all the planeswalkers we've got on the deck we can activate twice a turn, which, yeah, I thought was a good plan. Speaking of which, here's Teferi himself. Drawing the cards, untapping 2 lands, picking some target permanents, 3rd from top, or whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent opponent controls. If we can get to 8, hopefully we will get to 8 by this stage, but we'll see what happens. Fence is similar. Exile target permanent you own, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. Notice it's the beginning of the next end step. There's no planeswalkers in here that have got the ability to activate their abilities at any time until we get a little bit further on. But it is worth doing because you can bounce in things like Solemn Simulacrum. If you haven't got Brago in play and you want Dragon Lord or just untapped, you can blink this and out. It's fine. Elspeth's in here purely for, well, bit of creature control, bit of let's make some little tokens to help us out. Ether Snipe is another one. When it enters the battlefield, return non-land permanent to its owner's hand. We can blink this in and out with Brago. If we really need to, we can just evoke it, let it die, and then hopefully at some stage when we use the Elixir of Immortality, we'll shuffle it back in and deal with it that way. Ether Tiled Raid I've already spoken about, so I'll ignore that. Consecrated Sphinx is here, drawing cards. My opponents are drawing cards. I'll draw some cards as well. Yeah, seems like a bit of a no-brainer. Jace Arcane Strategist is here, because whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Do you see the little combo here, everybody? That's really why it's here, and just the draw card ability. There's no other reason for it. Teferi Temporal Archmage is here. Idealistically, we'd like to get it to -10 so you can activate Loyalty ability to planeswalkers you control on any player's turn. You can cast an instant. That'd be great. If we can get that off, I'll be really, really happy. Because if you can imagine doing with this and the -10 from here for the emblem, yeah, twice a turn, every turn. Thank you very much for each of our planeswalkers. They'll soon take over the game. I've also included a Time Bender, just so we can untap stuff, draw some cards. Eventually it might let us take an extra turn as well, but it's not why Teferi Time Bender's in here. It's really the untapping the creatures so we can ramp things up, or gaining the life and drawing 2 cards if we need to. Azor Lawbringer. I haven't played Azor for years. I liked Azor when it was in Standard. I did have a commander deck built around Azor, but it was far too slow and I haven't really gone back to it and revisited it. It may be what I do in the future. But at the end of the day, I thought it's blue-white. Let's try it in here with Brago. And if we can keep blinking it in and out, stop each opponent casting instant sorcery spells during that player's next turn. Why not? Maybe we can blink it out, bring it in, blink it at the end of combat. That's 2 of our opponents not casting instants and sorceries, which might save us. Probably upset them, but it might save us. Duplicates in here, because when it enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-token creature. And as long as a card exiled with duplicate is a creature, that has its power and toughness equal to that. It's still a shapeshifter, but blinking this in and out gives us a little bit of removal that can help quite significantly in this deck. Approach of the Second Sun is one of our win conditions. It's probably one of the top 2 win conditions in the deck, but it's here just so we can do that if we need to. If we're going to be a control deck, we'll be a control deck. Okay, I've already got mana drain and counter spell, but with all this sort of things and emergency powers, hopefully we'll get to repeat a lot of things all the way through. Agent of Treachery's here. This is probably the ultimate target for Brago. If you can bounce Agent of Treachery in and out 2 or 3 times, so you're controlling 3, 4 your opponent's permanents, yeah, you're going to draw through your deck really quickly, which does mean you can probably get your win off with Jace, because you will probably find yourself at like 2 cards left in your library at some stage, so it's all good. Kiora, Best of Sea God is a really good target for Brago, especially if you can cast this attack. Cast this, get your 8/8 Kraken with hexproof, attack with Brago, get him through unblocked, blink this out, you get another 8/8. you build up your 8/8s quite rapidly. And emergency powers I've just mentioned. Notice the amendment bit where it says if you cast this during your main phase, you may put a permanent card of mana value 7 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. It's another way of casting things that otherwise may be out of your reach. Anyway, that's it. That's my little Brago deck. I'll be playing Australia at some stage, and if I get a chance I'll record a game and put up with it as well. See how long it takes me to get beaten down by my opponents when they work out what I'm playing and how annoying I'm being. But anyway, all I can say for now is, thanks for watching the video. Please hit the subscribe button. Please jump onto the link below and come and follow me on Twitch as well. I'm trying to build up the followers over there still. I'm still trying to get towards that magic 100 number. We're sitting at 87 at the moment, so if you can come over and follow me on Twitch, I'd really appreciate it as well. And I'll take subscribers wherever I can get them from. I'm always streaming on a Tuesday and a Thursday night. I'm trying to do a bit more at the weekend as well, probably on Sundays. Unfortunately, summer's here now in the UK, and my Sundays tend to go out the window a little bit because I tend to go out and do things for my wife, but we'll keep trying. But all I can say in the meantime is thanks for watching this video, take care, and hopefully I'll see you on my stream very soon. Cheers, bye.